Hey y'all, this is my poet, author, and illustrator study. I'm just warning you right now, this is going to be a little rough. I didn't plan this out very well and I just had my wisdom teeth removed today, so I apologize ahead of time for any drool or anything that might come out. So I actually chose an author and an illustrator. Steve Kellogg does a lot of he's published many books, but he is most known for his illustrations. So I'm going to start out with some information about him, and then I'll go on, and I have a couple books that I was going to show you guys and maybe read. Okay, so we'll start with his biography. Steve Kellogg was born in Norwalk, Connecticut on October 26th, 1941. He married a beautiful woman named Helen, and Helen already had 6 kids. So Stephen and Helen didn't have any more kids, so he only had 6 stepchildren. But his family is very important to him, and he loves them all very much. As a child, Stephen always loved literature. He loved telling stories, but his favorite thing to do was make up a story and then illustrate it. Him and his sisters always did this, and they made it into a game, and they called it telling stories on paper. So basically, Stephen would just make up this story, and be very creative with that, and then he would, instead of writing down the story, he would draw the pictures and the illustrations to the story. Stephen went to school for college in Rhode Island and majored in illustration. As Stephen was growing up before he went to college, he noticed that a lot of grown-ups don't enjoy their jobs, and so he was very determined that he was going to have a job that he loved. Stephen's determination to stick to his dreams has brought many wonderful books, children's books, to the world. He published his first book in 1967 and has since illustrated over 100 books, which is pretty incredible. That's a lot of illustrations. So here's just a quick book list of just some very common books. Is Your Mama a Llama? Paul Bunyan, Jack and the Beanstalk, Give the Dog a Bone, The Green Bath, and A Rose for Pinkerton. Some of my favorite quotes by Stephen were, "My principal concern is presenting the tall tales is to infuse them with a zazziness and high-spirited energy. That, to me, is the essence of the genre." So I think that's very cool, and it shows his love, really, for telling tall tales, and his appreciation in vocabulary, really. So then the other quote that I really enjoyed was, "As a child, I loved the times when an adult would read a story to me. I remember being fascinated with the chance to study each illustration spread out before me, and how excited I got when the page turned and a new picture appeared." So I think this quote is really special because it really describes how some children do feel about literature and reading and things like that. And I think it's really cool because it expresses and shows his love for children's literature. So I actually have 2 books. I won't read them both, but I'll read one of them. We have Jack and the Beanstalk, and Is Your Mama a Llama? So Is Your Mama a Llama was actually just illustrated by Stephen Kellogg, and Jack and the Beanstalk was retold and illustrated by Stephen Kellogg. So since Is Your Mama a Llama is just illustrated by Stephen Kellogg, I'll just go through and show you some of the illustrations, and then I'll read Jack and the Giant Beanstalk to you. You'll notice that his illustrations are all very distinct in all of his stories. He kind of uses the same theme, a lot of watercolor. So here's one illustration. So as you can see, there's lots of variation with the watercolor right there. Yeah, in the sky, I guess you can see. So yeah, I think that's that, and then the black pen and paint that he uses to outline everything makes his illustrations very unique. And then also the different textures that he involves in his illustrations. Here's a good one. See, it's just very, very, very textured, but it's not like photography textured. So his illustrations are very unique. So that's Is Your Mama a Llama? Here is Jack and the Beanstalk. So there was once upon a time a poor widow who had only a son named Jack and a cow named Milky White. And all they had to live on was the farm the cows gave, was the milk the cows gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk, and they didn't know what to do. "Cheer up, Mother. I'll go and get work somewhere," said Jack. "We've tried that before, and nobody would take you," cried his mother. "We shall sell Milky White, and with the money start shop or something." So here's that. On his way to the market, Jack met a funny-looking old man. "Well, good morning, Jack," he said. "Good morning to you," said Jack, and the wonderful man knew his name. "Can you tell me how many beans make 5, said the man. "2 in each hand and 1 in your mouth," said Jack, sharp as a needle. "Right," said the man, "and as you are such a bright lad, I don't mind going to, doing a swap with you. You're a cow for these beans." "Go along," said Jack. "Ah, but these are magical beans," said the man, "and if you plant them tonight, by morning they grow up to the sky." Jack said, "Really?" "Yes, but if it doesn't turn out to be true, you can have your cow back." So there's Jack and his cow and the wizard and all of the 5 beans. "Back already, Jack?" his mother asked. "Tell me, how much did you get for Milky White?" "You'll never guess, Mother." "Could it be 5 pounds, 10, 15? No," she cried. "It can't be 20. "I know you couldn't guess. What do you say to these magical beans? Plant them tonight and—" "What?" said Jack's mother. "Have you been such a dolt, such an idiot as to give away my Milky White, the best milker in the parish, for a set of paltry beans? Off to bed with you. As far as your precious beans, here they go out the window." So that's Jack and his mother, and that's his mother throwing the beans out the window. Bye-bye, magic beans. So Jack went upstairs to his little room in the attic, and sad and sorry he was for sure, as much for his mother's sake as for the loss of his supper, as at last he dropped off to sleep. This is a big illustration. You can see the beanstalk starting to grow up. When Jack woke up, he saw the beans had sprung up into a big beanstalk that went up, 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 up till it reached the skies. So the old man spoke the truth after all. Jack gave a jump onto the beanstalk, and he climbed, 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 until at last he reached the sky. That's a really cool picture. Jack walked along, and he walked along, and he walked along until he came to a great big tall house on a doorstep as a great big tall woman. "Good morning, Mom," said Jack. "Can you be so kind as to give me some breakfast?" "It's breakfast you want?" said the big tall woman. "It's breakfast you'll be if you don't move on. My man is an org, and there's nothing he likes better than broiled boys on toast." "Oh, please, Mom," cried Jack. "I've had nothing to eat since yesterday morning. And really, truly, Mom, I may as well be broiled as die of hunger." Well, the org's wife was not half so bad. After all, she took Jack into the kitchen and gave him some bread and cheese, and all of a sudden, thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble, and the noise of someone coming. "Goodness gracious me!" the org's wife said. "Come along quick." She bundled Jack up into the oven as the org came in. He was a big one, to be sure. "Oh, wife," he said, "what's this I smell?" "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones and make my bread." So that is the giant, or the org. I'm sorry, that's all we have time for today, but that's a glimpse into Steve Kellogg's book, Jack and the Giant Beanstalk. Thanks, guys.